All right, let's just fucking go. Let's just do it. I didn't say it. I just said it. All right, what's up, everybody? Hello, it's Brion. Okay, look, I am delirious, and that's okay. So, we are going to talk about something that's been on my mind for a little while. It's right here. Why talented people still hide, or why talented people hide. Well, I'm gonna go through it. I don't have anything exactly lined up for this topic, but I do have some stories. We're gonna see where it goes. I've been working on tech stuff all day long. I went out for a run. I went out for a walk, and it's been raining and storming. But we're gonna go into this because I feel like it's really important. Yeah, I'm about to turn 50. We'll get into that as well. So welcome in. You are with Brion. This is my old channel turned new channel, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. And thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. Look, I'm not gonna do anything right now today except talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you about the it's like it's why talented people hide. I think it'd probably be best if I just talk to you a little bit about what I know to be or think to be talent and what talent is. I don't believe that any one person is, and this is really important, I don't think that any one person is less or more talented than anyone else. I think that a person can have a wealth, a broad, a deep, deep sense of passion and drive and ambition and want, and they know inside of themselves that there's something that they really, really want. They know it's possible. And I just poured myself a an old fashioned, so we're going to enjoy that because it's been a day. And it's my first one. I haven't had a sip yet. So just know talent, from what I understand and seen and have read, talent is only a matter of how blocked we are. I think a writer said that, or like Bertolt Brecht, or somebody said it. But then I thought about it further, and I was like, it's so true. And especially when I'm teaching, or when I'm on set, or I observe myself, I acknowledge myself in a journey, in a process that I'm going through. Where am I blocked, and what is preventing me from going forward with that? With that space of taking up space, stepping up into the the things that I want to make happen. And I'll say that my experience with actors and entrepreneurs and leaders and people that I've worked with and coached, from my experience, it is the amount in which you are emotionally blocked. The emotions create a physical block, and the quite often, and there's some very talented and open, vulnerable, amazing people that are physically blocked. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about emotionally stunted, emotionally blocked, emotionally immature, emotionally wrecked in some way. And when I say wrecked, that's not a judgment. I think it's an adjective to describe something that happened in your life where it turned into a wreck. So, and we've all been there. And I think that a lot of people don't talk about that part. They talk about the good parts. And I think that when we're talking about our through line strategy, which is what I'm developing, by the way, I've got a workshop coming up this Monday night the 22nd, I think that is. It's going to be my first one on this subject matter. It's going to be online, so make sure that you subscribe. I'll send out all the information. There is you can direct message me on Instagram or whatever, and I'll send that out for you. I've just been getting all the mechanics set up this week. The idea that we are blocked, that the layout of our emotional experience, where we were told when we were a kid, you're too much, and that was ingrained. So you start believing that what you are is too much for people to handle, or people don't see what you see, and so you start throwing out ideas, and people or circumstances don't listen with the intention of understanding those things. Brene Brown, shout out. Listening with the intention of understanding. That doesn't just stay with who people are. That doesn't just stay with your relationships. That doesn't just stay with your environment. It doesn't just stay with your significant other. It also applies to yourself, and that's the big one. Listening with the intention of understanding yourself. Acknowledge what it is. Acknowledge what's working. Acknowledge what doesn't work. And then do a check-in. The through line strategy is one part of a very multidimensional project that I'm working on. And this through line strategy is all the aspects and parts and creativity and the journey of becoming a creative person, which we all are. And something happens along the way where you're told some story from someone you respect, or a peer or a parent or whatever, a teacher, that you shouldn't cry. That if you feel a certain way, that you're wrong for feeling it. I'm here to tell you, all of your feelings are justified. And so what happens when we go, you shouldn't feel a certain way? Oh, I feel this. I haven't even identified what the feeling is, but I've been told that I shouldn't feel that. Whatever that is. I don't know what it is. I haven't identified it. I haven't acknowledged it. As a kid, especially. And so what you do, whatever that feeling is, I can't feel it. I'm not a man if I don't feel it. It makes me vulnerable if I don't feel it. It is wrong to feel a certain way. All feelings are justified. All of them. It is what we do, the actions that we take. The cycle of communication is the environment and how it informs your brain and the mind and what your mind does with the information. And it turns it into an emotion, and that emotion in turn turns into an action. It turns into behavior. It turns into a result. So I've had some back troubles the last few weeks, and it's healing. It's healing because I'm beginning to lock in on something that I'm excited about. I'm beginning to create something that I'm really, really excited about. And I haven't been in that space. I've needed to take some personal inventory, some looking at myself, listening to myself with the intention of understanding. And I've been in spaces recently where people would say, you don't need to understand it. You don't need to you just, whatever. You just need to dive deep. But that's an environment that I didn't feel safe in. I didn't feel safe in those spaces. And it's not that I don't feel safe. It's just that I choose where I want to be based on, does it elevate me? Does it challenge me in a good way? Do I feel like I am a contributing factor? And you can be in a space, by the way, you can be in a space and be a contributing factor to it, and it also not be conducive to your health in long term. So whatever the block is, whatever is our emotional block, if it's a thought or a story you tell yourself around, I'm not going to, um, I could never do that because one thing or another. I could never become an actor. I could never become a podcaster. I could never become a writer. I could never become the doctor. I could never become those things because I've been told around me that that's not possible, or that's not what boys do, or that's not what men do, or that's not what ladies do. Whatever it is. But it's something inside of you is true. It's something inside of you that you can create. And so you either, one, you keep it secret. It's something that you want for so long. It's a pulsating vibe that you got going on in your chest, this part of your chest right here, and I call it the lava. And it's like manifesting into it glows, it pulsates with energy. And over time, if we don't listen to it, if we don't follow through with that, then it becomes petrified. And I mean that it's a play on words too, but it becomes stopped. It becomes solid. It becomes hard. But it's always going to be in there. It's going to be a whisper. And it's going to be like, oh, you know what? I always wanted to be this, but I never thought. Somebody told me a story one time about that all of Hollywood is demonic, that it's all of these things, or every politician is evil, like, well, or all the Democrats are evil, or whatever. But it's not true. It's not true. And the reason why I know it's not true is because I've lived in Hollywood and I love Hollywood, and I know it has changed since I've been there since like 2 years. But what I know to be true is that there are some negative people. There are some people that get all the attention. But there are millions and millions and millions of people that work in that industry that are really great people. Beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. And you don't always hear about them because, they it's not that they are hiding, it's that they love the work that they do. And they love creating the art. They love creating the stories. There's a lot of people that don't need the additional fame part of it, the celebrity part of it. And that part becomes a choice, I think. It was my experience that, you're constantly proving yourself over and over again. And to an industry that doesn't really understand all the nuances, especially recently, the nuances of art and growth and it's the hot thing. I'll talk about that at some point. I'm not going to go into it tonight. But what I want to discuss with you, and I really want to make clear with you, is that inside of you is something that's incredible that needs to be and gets to be born. And you know what it is. You know that you may not be able to put your finger on it. You may not be able to identify it. I mean, you can throw it up in the chat. Just ask me a question in the chat, if I'm not being clear, or if you know, and just say, I know. Say, I know that I have something. Because I don't want you to share it necessarily. I would love for you to come to the workshop, and I would love for you to share it there once we create a safe space for you to do so. And I'm going to be having consistent ones of these. I'm going to be having a lot of them. So just get on my email list, and we'll get you in. But it's a precious thing, because if you tell the people that it doesn't work right, if you tell the wrong people, you might get dissuaded. You might get discouraged. And then we start believing that story. And so that creates another block. So it is my experience. It is absolutely my experience that the amount of talent a person has is based on where their blocks are and how solid their blocks are and how willing a person is to move beyond those blocks. Acknowledge what it is. We have to look into our environment, into our given circumstances, and take inventory and go, this doesn't work. Or this works, let me do more of that. Oh my God, I feel vulnerable suddenly. I was doing a rehearsal one time, and I was in this situation where I was going through, it was like the third or fourth week of rehearsal, and I was going through the experience, and I said a line during rehearsal, a line that I'd said bazillions of times. And for some reason in that moment, the line hit me differently, and it knocked me, but it was a surprise. It was a beautiful surprise. And that's the emotional improvisation of being human, living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. I want to bring all of this. I really, really, really want to bring all of this into the broader landscape of what is available to people in the world. I've always wanted to share my experiences. I've always wanted to share the experience that a creative environment like that can have on the larger population. So if you're like, I can't memorize lines, or I don't want to be an actor, or I wouldn't know where to begin being a screenwriter or writer or whatever, it's all right. Because honestly, humanity is that we live truthfully under imaginary circumstances all the time. And that's the goal too. That's another part of this through line strategy, is that we are wanting something. We want something to happen in the future, but the idea is that we incorporate it as if it's already happened. And I have a video of me on top of a mountain in Colombia, and it was like this feeling of, holy cow, like this epic feeling of accomplishment and excitement and joy. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been here already. I've been here already. And when I got those calls, or I get those amazing calls from someone out of the blue saying, hey, I want you to do this, I'm usually very much matter of fact about it, because I've already imagined it, I've already felt it, I've already had the feeling of it. Which, when it happens, it can be tough. But then you discover that once that happens, there's so many other things you can't anticipate. There's so many things you can't anticipate by taking that first step forward, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. So anyway, I got my technical stuff, I think, all set up. We're going to be doing these every day. And the conversation around this, why talented people hide, is in that. It is in blocks. It is in understanding that too, that it becomes a lot. So once you've stepped out into the arena, and you've stepped out into the playing field, I've always said, wherever there's an empty space, I'm going to fill it if nobody else is. And then there was a time, a turning point, where it was post-COVID, SAG strikes, writer strikes, all the stuff. And I did a project. I'm not going to mention the name, but I was a consultant on the project. And it was really good money. It was really, really good money. But I found myself in this monotony. It was a great crew, great people. Really, it really was. But I saw myself in this moment where I didn't want to play in that anymore. I didn't want to play in that specific container. Now, put me on a film set any day. I love a film set. Put me on a stage or a theater or a rehearsal room any day. I love it. I love it. But when it becomes about superficial, when it becomes about money, when it becomes about something that has no substance, I have a really hard time with that. I don't think I was alone in the feeling about that on this project. Everybody on the set was amazing, though, and sometimes we find ourselves doing the bidding of something that we don't want to do for the money, and we don't really, but we're doing that project because it's taking us to the next step. But that's when I literally was like, okay, I need to vacate the premises of Los Angeles for a little while. And the need to like realign. I found myself in a place where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this fits, but I'm going to give it my all. And I realized that when I was leaving there, I didn't have a through line. I thought I did. I thought I had a through line project, but it wasn't clear enough. It wasn't clear. It wasn't settled enough. It wasn't clear enough for me to be able to um, to battle off all of the all of the um, obstacles and all the chaos, not only in our politics and our environment and the place that I was and all of that. It was a beautiful place, but it wasn't. I didn't have my through line. So had I the through line before we'd left? I don't know. Like, this is all part of me getting back on track, and I think that that's the part that that has helped create this thing, the through line strategy. It's not just an idea, it's not just a title, it's literally a multi-dimensional, multi-faceted process that is basically built around all the things in my life that have worked and addressing the things that haven't worked and why they haven't worked. So if it wasn't for me doing these things that I've done in the past like 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't have found this, and maybe this is what I'm supposed to do right now. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. But it took me hiding. It took me kind of refiguring shit out, you know? Anyway, so with that in mind, that is going to be it for this one. I'm going to make sure all the sound is up, and I'm reintroducing myself on this channel. This has all my old acting reels and plays. I was working with some AI structuring stuff, and one of the recommendations from a video that I was watching about AI and about working with is that it told me I should go back to my old channel because my new channel it wasn't direct. It wasn't streamlined in a way that I wanted to. But now we're going back over. So you can check out my old stuff, some new stuff. All of these videos are going to be on the Brion Davis DeVell Throughline YouTube. So hit that subscribe button. There's going to be more. I look forward to having you around. Hit the comment button. And oh, by the way, if you have commentary that's in contradiction to anything that I say about our political system right now, I'm just not gonna respond to it. What I would encourage for you to do, if you listen to my channel and people that are in this kind of work, what I would encourage you to do is listen with the intention of understanding and that there's a better possibility out there for you. There's happiness, there's joy, there's community. And ask yourself, what story are you telling that may not be true about people that you don't know? And then look at, the results. Okay, so look at the results. The results are the product of decisions and choices we make. That is why sometimes people hide, because they've been told a story that isn't true, that they begin to make believe about themselves. So, all right. Cheers. Have a great night.